Hi, folks. You've stumbled upon my YouTube channel, Music for Fun and Health. I'm your host, Doug, and if it's your first time here, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my channel. So, what I've been trying to do, if you can tell by the name of the channel, Music for Fun and Health, I do like to have a lot of fun with music here. I like to tell people about how music has helped in my mental health journey and also how it can help in yours. And now, what I have been doing is I've been picking up different instruments that I've never played before and just trying to learn simple tunes on them. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I invite you guys to subscribe to the channel and look back on some of the things I've done previous. Yeah, a lot of fun for me. There's a lot of laughs in there. And yeah, I just like to get it out to whoever would need a bit of a laugh or, even a little bit of history about music. Tonight, we're going to do something just a little bit different. Tonight, I'm going to do my first story time on Music for Fun and Health. So, tonight, I'm going to share the heart wrenching story of Grace Gifford and Joseph Plunkett and how their love for each other came written about several decades later in a famous Irish ballad. The setting for this story is Ireland, the year 1916. At the time, Ireland was under the rule of the British Empire. Many Irish people wanted their independence. Joseph Plunkett was one of those people. Joseph was a poet and a journalist, and he had a great knowledge and pride in his Irish heritage. He came from an affluent family, lots of money, and he traveled a lot in his youth, something I didn't get to do much of. He was diagnosed with tuberculosis as a young boy, and because his family had money, they were able to take him to warmer climates where his symptoms weren't quite as bad. So now Grace Gifford, she was an artist and a cartoonist, also came from an affluent family. She was raised in a Protestant family, and at the time, if you remember the big arguments between the Protestants and the Catholics in Ireland, you wouldn't think that she would have much use for a Catholic boy like Joseph. But Grace developed an interest at a young age in Catholicism, and she was very accepting of Joseph when they met through her sister's husband, Thomas MacDonagh, a friend and fellow poet of Joseph's. Joseph and Grace ended up falling in love, and they were engaged to be married. However, Destiny had other plans, and about this time, a small group of rebels were planning an uprising. Joseph was elevated to the top of this small group and was one of 7 people to sign the proclamation for Ireland's independence. Joseph and Grace's wedding was planned for Easter of 1916, but as it turns out, that was the same time the fight for independence was to take place. This was known as the Easter Rising. Joseph's love for his country and his belief in an independent Ireland had to take priority over his love for Grace. And Joseph ended up going off to war for his beliefs. Thousands of lives were lost in the short battle, and Joseph's army was defeated. Joseph and several of the leaders of this group were captured and imprisoned in a jail they call Kilmainham Jail in Dublin, Ireland. And they were charged with treason for their part in the uprising. The punishment for their crimes was death by firing squad. Now, hearing of her fiance's fate, Grace rushed out. She went to a Dublin jeweler and she bought a wedding ring. And she pleaded with the military authorities at the time to allow a wedding to take place. Now, somehow, some way, Grace was able to convince them, and it was granted. And Grace and Joseph were married on the grounds of the prison. Actually, there was a chapel in the prison in Kilmainham Jail, just hours before his execution. Now, their love story became a symbol of resilience, and their devotion inspired countless others. Years later, in 1985 to be exact, brothers Frank and Sean Mira were moved enough to write a song called Grace. The lyrics encapsulated the essence of what Joseph and Grace endured, a love so pure that it persisted even in the face of tragedy. The song is a tribute to their spirit, reminding us that true love can withstand the darkest of times, creating an everlasting legacy that resonates in the hearts of many. Now, of course, the channel wouldn't be complete if I didn't play some type of song, so I am going to give you my rendition of Grace, and I'm also going to try and put the lyrics down below. Please pay attention to the lyrics. They're very important. They're as I said, heart-wrenching, and they tell a beautiful but sad story. So here we go. I'm going to give it a shot. Here's the song Grace.
As we gathered in the chapel
folks, I hope you enjoyed my rendition of Grace. It's a beautiful song. It's been in my head. I've listened to it thousands of times in the last month or two. Really inspired a fellow firefighter friend of mine. His name is Jeff. He's been so gracious to give me a couple of instruments to learn to play. I have not got them back to him yet, so I better do that in a hurry. He did lend me his bowrin, which you've probably seen in some earlier episodes there. Great guy, and I asked him a couple of years ago what are some of his favorite Irish songs, and this was one of them. So I decided to learn it too, and just see what he thinks. And yeah, he's pretty happy with what I've done. So yeah, that's going to be about it for tonight, guys. I know I've promised to learn a song on my didgeridoo. And I will definitely do that. I'm having some problems with the circular breathing. It's not quite as easy as I first expected, but yeah, I'll get back on that. But I wanted to share this with you tonight. Beautiful song, and yeah, just hope you guys are doing well, and keep following this channel. I will try to do some more music stuff for you, teach you a little bit about music history, things like that. Again, I'm just doing this for fun. I want you guys to watch it. Maybe it'll inspire you to pick up an instrument. I didn't have a lot of musical history before I started this. So yeah, I'm 58 years old, and I'm just learning instruments. I pick them up, I see what I can do with them, and move on to the next one. So maybe if you want to give it a shot, try a couple of these instruments. Try any kind of instruments. And my grandpa always said, make a joyful noise. So yeah, guys, I will hope you will join me another week. And until then, you guys, I'd say, hey, keep smiling. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye now.